How about if I hit the unmute button on the computer itself? That might help. That would probably blasting them out.
We talking now? Can you hear us now?
Not yet.
It's going to take 60 seconds.
I see little lines now.
Yeah, we're real loud now. I turned this down a whole bunch.
Oh, I can see the little lines now. When it goes red, I'm blaring. I see little lines now.
The Anderses have joined us.
Hi, I'm glad the Anderses have joined us. So today we are with Connor, myself, and Kobe. A couple things I want to tell you guys about the kids. First of all, the most important thing of the day. Do you know what today is important for, Kobe? I know what today is important for. Do you know what today is important for?
I mean, I heard it's an important day.
It's an important day. It's my birthday. So I get to talk to you guys for my birthday present is to say hi to you guys and tell you how much I missed you and tell me how much I can't wait for all of us to come back together. And I have been practicing pies in the face, and I've learned that if you do use the Cool Whip, not in the spray container, it does not burn your eyes. So, Andy, Navy, and Ty, I'm ready. When you get back, it's going to be on, it's going to be fun, and I'll get to enjoy the pie face, unlike I did with Kobe, who got me with oils, and I couldn't see for 3 days. But today we're going to talk a little bit about, we have a program that we're working on. It's a coalition for everyone in our town and our churches and all the youth, and that is the Middletown Youth Coalition, and we're going to start building it. Hopefully as soon as we all get back and life gets back to normal, we'll start to do more. We got feedback. We'll get back to doing game nights and doing some really cool stuff in the community with the kids, and I can't wait to see you guys and be part of that. And one of the things that they asked us to do is that sometimes you guys, through all this, we get so caught up in being adults and making sure that the bills are paid and there's food on the table and there's a roof over our head and there's all the different things that the adults need to do that the kids kind of get lost in the translation, and we forget that you guys are seeing and going through this just as much as we're going through this. So I've asked Kobe to join me, and I'm going to ask Connor some questions, and I will ask you guys some questions to kind of give some feedback as to what you guys do to handle anxiety. All the things that you're going through right now, all the things that you're feeling and the emotions that you're going through. What? What's so funny?
Andy, Navy, and Ty are singing you the birthday song.
Yes!
Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. You live in a zoo, you smell like a monkey, and you look like one too.
You have no idea how that accurate that is. I do live in a zoo, and maybe even if... one time I'll escort you around the zoo, and I do kind of look like a monkey, like a gorilla, but a monkey too. Connor begged me to shave my face, and now I even look more like a gorilla, so it's even worse. But we're going to talk about anxiety and how you guys handle it. So the first question is for Chris and Andy and Navy and Ty and Landon and everyone that's joining us. I want you guys to start thinking while I talk to these guys about what you guys are doing to handle the anxiety that you're going through with not being in school, which some of that might not be anxiety, you might be excited about that. Not being able to go out and be around the people that you love and the people that you care about, the people that you see every day. So we're going to kind of talk about what you guys do to handle that stress and that anxiety. And so we'll start with asking these guys, then I'll ask you guys to chime in, and then I'll give you some examples and maybe some things that you can do to even help further and give you a little more relief when it comes to the things that you're going through, and maybe even help you be able to approach your parents and approach some questions that you didn't think that you were allowed to ask. So with that, we'll start with Connor. Connor, are you having some anxiety with all this craziness going on?
Just a little bit.
What do you do when you feel like maybe there's a lot of words getting thrown around, like, oh, this is doomsday and the apocalypse, and nothing's ever going to be the same? What do you do when you start to feel anxiety?
I take a moment. I specifically, I'll shut everything off, be it the TV or the computer or my phone or anything else, and take an opportunity, especially on a day like today. Like right here, we're sitting here and we can hear the birds chirp and things are calm, and you just take a second to pause. Count to 10, do something just to chill out. Sometimes for me, it might be just drinking a glass of milk and taking time to drink it slowly and work my way through it, just to pause and stop listening to the big words being thrown around of what's coming to happen, and just figure out what I'm going to do tomorrow.
Absolutely, that's good. Do you feel like sometimes maybe things are a little out of the ordinary to the point where you don't think it's going to come back?
No, I think it will come back.
Good.
We have had major disasters in the course of history that we have come back from that were worse than anything we're encountering today. So, I have confidence that it will come back. We will have learned some new things. Much like how we're talking with you all via the computer, it's a little different world. We will have learned some things and do some things a little bit differently, but we will come back and everything, people will return to school and people will return to work and things will go back to normal.
That's right. That's good. See, you have a good coping mechanism. So we're going to talk about coping skills when it comes to this. So Connor seems to have a pretty good grasp on coping mechanism. How would you guys like to talk to Kobe and see Kobe and have Kobe exchange places with Connor real quick so I can ask him the same questions? What do you guys think? Someone say yes and I will do it. We'll make Kobe come in and you can see his backwards hat and his facial hair that he's not shaved in 6 months. Is that a yes? I see a yes. So come on, you guys.
I like it.
You switch and see what you're going on. I have a whole different set of questions for Kobe. Things that you guys probably don't even know. Kobe, hello.
Hello.
How do you like that hat, guys? It's backwards and he's all non-shaven. But you do have a really nice lineup on your beard. How did you get that nice lineup on your beard?
Had a little bit of help.
Really?
Yeah.
Who helped you?
Some really cool guy.
Really?
Yeah.
What was his name?
I think his name was Jeff.
Yeah, that's right. I did it. So I have a question. So what some of you guys don't know, like Andy and Navy and Landon, is that Kobe's senior year is this year. So Kobe, when he talks about the school, all the things that you guys are working towards, like graduation and getting your cap and gown and walking across the stage and having that graduation party, those are all the things that Kobe is looking forward to this year. But it looks like because we're on lockdown that we're not going to be able in a stay in place and shelter in place kind of situation, that Kobe won't be able to do those things. So what are some things that you have worries about when it comes to all the things that are going on right now?
I worry a lot about school, mostly about graduation and if that's going to be a possibility for a lot of seniors, including me, with this online class.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of one-on-one contact with teachers who know said subject.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little scary.
How do you feel about not being able to walk on your graduation day? Is that a little anxious and give you a little anxiety?
I wouldn't say anxiety. It's really, it'd be more of a depression state, because every other senior before me and after me will be able to walk across the stage and go to their senior prom, where we get stuck at home.
With your parents most of the time, huh?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that stress?
I deal with the stress between keeping myself busy, helping around the house, and cooking.
Cooking? And he cooks amazing. Not as great as his dad, but he does pretty good. He made these ribs that were pretty awesome that we ate on for 3 days because he made so much of it.
I mean, yeah.
He has to. He's staying here. No, but he made ribs, and we made them. He made that, and he put the ribs in ramen noodles. And we're eating all kinds of weird stuff, guys. That's another good way to help with the stress is come up with your own recipes, right? Come up with your own crazy things.
It works.
Do you feel that you can talk to the people around you right now about all the stress and the anxiety that you're having?
Yeah.
Is it easy to approach your parents? And then now me sitting in this chair, but is it easy to approach me and tell people that you're afraid?
Yeah, I think it's easy to talk to you guys and grandma and whatnot. You guys are pretty cool.
Yeah, that is kind of an easy situation because you have so much, people around you that love you that are locked in the same house, so you get to spend those times and that quality time with them. That's awesome. Do you think that if they couldn't cook, what would you suggest maybe Landon doing as Landon can cook? How about Ty? What would you suggest Ty doing to kind of relieve that stress? Do you have any questions about that or comments about that?
I would explore what you have around you and find a passion. If you can't cook, go play some basketball. If you don't like basketball, try soccer, football, different sports, different activities. Maybe you're good at painting. I don't know.
So
try different routes.
So what I would tell you to do, we talked a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know if you guys remember us talking about the camping trips that we went on, how I burnt down tents, and there was skunks that were burnt, and all that good stuff. And we said that sometimes the most disastrous situations that you're in life, and you start to develop ways to cope with those, and going through it doesn't seem like it's this huge blessing, but sometimes you find that those memories are the ones that last the longest. So what I would propose to you, Kobe, is yes, you are maybe one of the only generations that don't get to walk across the stage and graduate as normal and go to your prom as normal, but you are one of the only ones that get to make your own prom. So you can turn that around and make it good, and you can have your own prom right here in the backyard, or you can have your own graduation. My favorite thing is I seen one of the classes doing the little emojis and going across the stage.
The space bar going.
And you hit the space bar and the emoji moves across the screen, and then they give you the diploma on the screen, and you hit the space bar and it keeps going. Tell them what your emoji is going to be and why.
I'm going to claim the fish. Only because it's the easiest one to spot out. The yellow big fish with the blue stripes. Everyone knows that one.
Is that the kind of looks like from Dora, right?
Yeah, it's like Dory except yellow.
Yellow Dory. So you get to come up with your own ideas on how to walk across stage, how to have your own prom, and how to have your own graduation party. And you can't see, but our front door is decorated with all of Kobe's stuff from school this year. So it's got his chef's jacket, and it's got his name, and it's got 2020. And so when people drive by, they can honk and say, hey, we support the 2020 graduates. So there's a lot of stress for everyone. And what I wanted to point that out is from Pastor Connor all the way to me, all the way to Kobe, and all the way to you guys, there's a lot of anxiety and stress going on. So I want to give you guys a couple ideas on what you guys can do right now to kind of battle that stress and battle that anxiety. And then I'll ask you guys what you're already doing so we can share that with the rest of the people on Facebook. But one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about being able to do is everyone knows how to write, right? And sometimes it may be hard for Kobe to say, Dad, I feel this way. Dad, I feel scared. I feel anxious. I feel upset. I know that I'm trying to be strong because you're being strong, but I really want to talk about this. And as a kid, Kobe, sometimes that can be hard, isn't it? So what if we wrote those things down in a journal? Today, Andy, you write down in a journal, I feel a little anxious about this. I heard this on the news, or I heard this on TV or on the internet, and I want to ask you about it, Mom or Dad, but I want to come to you this way because then I can fully give you everything that I'm feeling. Because sometimes you get in front of Mom and Dad, and we're so excited about taking care of everything and making sure that everything's provided for you that we kind of maybe even say, maybe not right now. But if I have it in paper and I read it, Kobe wrote it to me, and I said, well, Kobe is really upset that he's not going to be able to walk across a platform and get his graduation certificate. And that is a real big stressor for him. So maybe then I can then maybe go out and help him create a stage out back and we can do it out back together. Or if he's upset that he can't have a prom, maybe then Friday night I go out and we do a virtual prom, and I help set that up. But if I have it in front of my face as a parent and it's in your writing and I can take the time to really focus on seeing what you're going through, maybe that might be a better way to approach or talk to your parents a little better and start that conversation about how you're afraid or you're anxious or the anxiety is starting to get to you. And then you have that journaling ability, and I tell you what, every time you write something down and you get it out, it does start to feel better. Connor, do you journal?
A little bit.
Kobe, do you still journal?
Sometimes, yeah.
I still journal. Sometimes I do it on the phone, and Mr. Jeff is really bad about typing, so I'll use a microphone and I'll record it, and it writes it on the page for me because I'm
really bad.
And then they joke about how bad my grammar is and this, that, and the other. But you know what? I don't do it for them. I do it for me. So you guys do it for you. So maybe journaling and then sharing that journal with your parents is a good way to relieve that stress and relieve that anxiety about talking to the parents about the way that you're feeling. Because sometimes we do, as parents, we kind of, we're involved in so many things that having that in front of us might be a better way to understand how you guys are feeling. The other thing is to find something you're passionate about. Drawing, cooking. I know that Landon talked about wanting to cook for a while, and then I know that Andy and Navy are awesome artists because they draw all the time, and the dragon picture that they drew is still on the Sunday school room, so I know they're great artists. So maybe drawing is a great way to relieve that stress and kind of just get that anxiety out.
Y'all are going to be proud of this one.
Yes.
Andy, Navy, and Ty just said, we as brother and sisters go into the woods and play survival.
That is the greatest thing in the world.
They ate a squirrel.
Oh, see? That's what I'm saying. We don't have to worry about going to the grocery. We've got all that out back. We were just talking about that one day. We said we don't have to worry about it because we've got so many squirrels and rabbits. We're going to be okay. I'll have Kobe tell you about Survival Weekend, and you guys will find that really funny here in just a minute. Finding something you're passionate about, going out and shooting basketball, going out together as family and doing these things. And right now we tend to think that this is a bad thing, that all these, having to be distanced from everybody but the people that we live with, having to be distanced from all the distractions that are going on in the world, having to be distanced from all the places that we normally go is a bad thing. But maybe we can look at it as a good thing, that we can start to go back and do the things that we were supposed to be doing all along, like being family, like spending more time with your brothers and sisters, like spending more time with your parents, getting to know your grandparents even better, reaching out on the phone, because that is a lost art form. Mm-hmm. Growing up, Kobe hated to talk on the phone, but maybe that's an art form that we need to get back to, is being able to reach out to people and see how they're feeling, how they're doing, and see if just talking to them can be comforting. Kobe, with that being said, Andy and Navy and Ty have to hear about Survival Weekend. So tell them what Survival Weekend is.
So Survival Weekend is one weekend each year. It's typically in November. A whole bunch of troops and friends and family go out into the wilderness in a couple pairs, and they stay 24 hours with almost no help. We give them a little bit of a single match and a little bit of food, but everything else they have to do themselves. They have to build a shelter. They have to start their own fire, cook their own food. And most years we give them a squirrel, and they have to skin the squirrel, take the bones out of the squirrel, and cook it, and that is their dinner for the day. It is really awesome and super fun, and I remember each weekend as a different memory. It's awesome.
Oh, did you ever eat squirrel?
Yeah.
What else did you eat?
Squirrel. We had a Cornish game hen. I don't know what they're called. The little chickens.
Look at all them chickens.
And then one year they gave us 2 little bags of chip and a can of Mountain Dew, and that was it. Everything else we had to find ourselves.
The Mountain Dew was not my idea. That was Kobe's idea.
That was my idea. I ran that one.
But yeah, it's kind of cool. I'm glad that you guys got out and were able to do that. That is really cool. Squirrels are actually pretty tasty. I think that they're good. And then, did you guys make squirrel stew? Squirrel stew is really awesome. I bet your uncle or your dad or your grandpa know how to make squirrel stew. As long as you have a squirrel and some potatoes and onions and just a few ingredients, you can make an awesome stew. So I think that that's a great idea, going out and spending time with your family. And there's a comment, and so what does that say?
Which one?
I don't know. You just read some comments off to me.
Some of our incoming comments have been Amanda Coblin has said that Kobe has awesome parents. Sometimes the things going on right now can be hard as an adult, but they've become a lot closer as a family.
Yes, and then the great thing is we have social media now, so we get to see those things. So I get to see all the cool things that the Coblins are doing, and they're doing exactly what we're talking about. They're Ronnie and Nick. They're some of our Boy Scouts, and so they're able to speak to their parents, because they have awesome parents too, and tell them how they're feeling. And they have game nights I've seen them out playing different games and going out camping together. And Grace is their daughter, and Grace actually taught Amanda how to dance. I did see the dance, Amanda, and then I think she challenged Dad to a certain type of game, and Dad won, and then posed on a fence post showing how awesome he was because he beat her. So being out and being part of a family can relieve stress and relieve anxiety because you're with the ones you love, and which is really funny. And the only thing that I would say in the whole saga that is the Copelands is Ron, the dad, the hair, dude, the hair. If I had to shave my beard, party in the back is pretty awesome, but I shaved my beard, so. But it's pretty cool to see all the things you guys are doing. That's really awesome. And Andy and Navy and Ty, one of the things that you guys could be doing is making dinner for the parents with Mom right there. That would be kind of fun. Landon, any of you guys can do that. Making sure that you guys are well versed in all the things that are going on. Back in the day, my mom, when she was young, they would teach them how to make all these cool things, and then that would be kind of like the staple. And I say that to say this, is I got a great birthday gift. My favorite thing in all the world was what was called cat head biscuits. And nobody makes homemade biscuits anymore. They all go to the store and buy regular old biscuits. So I begged and begged and begged for weeks and weeks and weeks. Please, 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 can you guys make me cat head biscuits? So they tried this morning, and they were real close to my grandma's, and they were awesome and delicious. And they were big and fluffy and wonderful. And so that was something that our family didn't do anymore, is we didn't cook like that, and we didn't share those recipes that were handed down for so long. And through all of this, we're starting to do that now. So it's a good thing that we are together, and we were, kind of forced back into the home, because now we can start to pass those things down that we kind of went by the wayside, which is really cool. So, how about you guys? How are some of the things that you guys are doing? We've talked to how the Coblins are doing things, and we've seen how Andy, Navy, and Ty are doing things. Do you guys do anything separately that kind of help? Are you guys still drawing, and have you started to do journaling? What other things are you guys doing? Landon, what are you doing? And Chris, what are you doing? I can't wait to get back and start spending some time going through and making sure that we now understand the things that we miss so much. So we take for granted that we just show up and we have meetings and we hang out together and we go to church on Sunday. That's kind of taken for granted. Now all of a sudden we're not allowed to do it, and we can't wait to get back there and get it done. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm glad that I've now started to understand how important it is to come together and be a part of each other's lives in the here and now, not just think about it and dread having to do it.
Teresa Rich waved hello.
Hey Teresa, how are you doing?
Danny Corn has been watching.
Danny Corn. Could you imagine the amazing things Danny Corn's probably doing? Danny Corn is our friend. Let me tell you about Danny Corn. Andy, Navy, Ty, Landon, Ronnie, and Nick, and you guys would love Danny Corn. Danny teaches a course, or taught a course. The first time I met Danny was lightweight backpacking, and he made all his own stuff. And so he would have his hammock and his backpack and all of the stuff that he would go backpacking in, and probably weighed, I'm exaggerating a little bit, and he probably would know exactly the weight, but it was like 2 ounces, really like 2 or 3 pounds, I don't know. But the hammock he made was amazing. It was oversized, and it was perfect, and it was lightweight, and it was awesome. So he makes all the stuff that he needs to go backpacking and do lightweight backpacking, so almost like survival backpacking. And he's like, you know, when it comes to first aid, he was I guess he was the medic for the reservation for the scout camp for a very long time. So he was the medic, so he knew everything there was about first aid and CPR, and so he taught that class, and so he was well versed. But that guy can camp like no other. And the other thing he can do is, Ron, you said Ronnie, you liked climbing the tower. About 90% of everything that goes on in that tower, Danny Corn's done. Probably come up with a way to do it, and probably has installed 90% of the stuff that's on that tower with a bunch of other scouts. But he was amazing when it came to climbing. So thank you, Danny. We miss you guys. He just got married to another amazing climber. So they're a very big scouting family. It was really awesome.
So the Andersons have said that they do make breakfast and lunch.
Yes.
And then their exact comment was, when did you meet Pastor Connor?
When did I meet Pastor Connor? I met Pastor Connor, and I get this wrong every time that I talk about him. What age? So I will negate his age when I met him, but he was a youngster. I met him through scouting, and he was working at the camp, and he was doing a lot of stuff in the council, and he had just finished up with I think you just finished up, or rather within a few months or year, he had finished up being a Boy Scout and was starting to join venturing crew. So he joined our venturing crew and became a member of our venturing crew. So I've known him through scouting for quite some time. I guess now he's 20. Well, I think he's 45, but he's 26, right? 25. So let's just say for the last 7 years. I met him 7 years ago through scouting, somewhere around there.
That math's about right.
Yeah, and I wanted everyone's like, oh, he was scouter extraordinary. Man, I tell you what, he was awesome unless you had to have him camp. He did not like camping. He was the perfect Boy Scout minus camping. He did not like camping, so he would not have eaten. He wouldn't have eaten a squirrel, would you have?
Probably not, no.
Yeah, he wouldn't have eaten a squirrel.
I got hungry.
He was a squirrel. And then I found out, so I kept going, why doesn't he camp on Sunday? We would go, I would hear all these stories about Connor leaving early when it came to camp outs, and no matter where he was, they would always leave early, and people were like, I don't know why he left early, he just doesn't like camping. Come to find out, he wasn't leaving early because he, necessarily didn't like camping. He was leaving to go to church every Sunday morning. So he would be up and at 'em and packed, where we would still, say if we were going camping with him, we would still be in bed at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then get up and pack our campsite up, clean the campsite up. Connor was up at 5:30, 6 o'clock, packing everything up, getting all his stuff ready, packed into the car so he could, and his parents would drive wherever they were, camping, to get him to bring him back to church. So not only, doesn't like camping, I would say, is that a fair, accurate, camping outside in a tent, but it was a lot of the reasons he was leaving was because he was coming to church. So
there's just something about sitting in the sanctuary on Sunday morning and smelling like campfire at the same time.
He did smell like campfire a couple of times that he would leave the camp. So yeah, and then I got to work with him at summer camp, and he would sleep in. Just me too. Not just him, but we would sleep in sometimes. So through breakfast, so we would get that extra 20 minutes of sleep, and then we would get up and go and do our day, and we would spend 16 hours working on the scout reservation. But I dreaded Sunday because I knew that he was going to get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning to get ready to go to church. And if I didn't spend the Saturday night at home and spend it with him at camp, I hated waking up that early. But he would even at camp get up and go to church on Sunday. And trust me, he smelled like campfire. And 2,500 scouters, and you gotta figure, we were there working 16 hours a day, showered occasionally when we had a chance to. So, oh my goodness, the smells that were in that room sometimes. So campfire would have been a good smell sometimes.
You make it sound like it was all me.
It wasn't all him. We had this one. Oh my goodness! I hope if you ever have a chance to meet him, and he comes to our church occasionally for
Kevin
things.
Stewart is watching.
Hi, Kevin. I'm glad Kevin Stewart is watching. But we had Kevin. You remember DT? We had DT, and he would wake up every morning by breaking winds, and it was the smelliest, nastiest thing. And he would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and just go out and leave us all lingering in all his nastiness. It was bad. DT was very bad for that. It was not fun.
He was.
But I'm glad you guys are dealing with stress and you're able to deal with anxiety and all the stuff going on in your own little ways. But I would encourage you to start doing the things that we had talked about. Maybe try journaling and writing down the things that you would like to talk to mom and dad about, and that you sometimes don't feel like maybe they that necessarily would have the ability to say, because you get a little scared or you get upset saying it. If you write it down and you hand it to them, and then that can start a conversation. I would encourage you guys, like Andy, Navy, and Ty, to make breakfast and lunch as a family together. Come up with a bunch of different recipes, and you guys can share them. What we could do is, coming out of this during our meetings, we could put together a pandemic cookbook. What did we eat in the middle of the pandemic as a family? Ours would be ridiculous. We would have everything would revolve around ramen noodles.
That's very true.
And peanut butter other than Kobe. We eat more peanut butter and ramen noodles in this house than any other place on the planet, I believe. Start to do things that you're passionate about. Go out and see if you're passionate about being in the woods, eating squirrel, making squirrel stew. See if you're passionate about playing basketball. See if you're passionate about art or cooking. And I encourage you to start spending more time together as a family. Again, start thinking about this as a reset, that we're starting to be able to understand what's important to us. We had gotten to a point in this world where everything was so fast and everything was coming at us so much, and we were doing so many things that we didn't take the time to appreciate the things that we really, really loved. And we weren't doing the things that we had done for generations, like pass down recipes and learn how to cook like Grandma cooked, and learn how to make those biscuits like Memo made, and spend time in the woods doing the things that our families love to do. So I think this is just a time to reset and start to think of it as a good thing, instead of just this horrible craziness and the end of the world that everyone talks about, because this is not the end. Like Connor said, this has happened so many times in the past that God resets things sometimes. Sometimes he says, hey guys, we need to take a few minutes and a few steps back to see what's important in real life and what's important to each one of us. And that is our family, our friends, and our health. So with that being said, then we'll talk about maybe even having Kobe go out and teach you guys some of the things and do some of the things when we get back that we did in Survival Weekend. That'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it? An outing and a weekend camp trip. Maybe we can even go out to like Friedland or something like that. Now, with that being said, I've got a couple of things I want you guys to start thinking about. We're going to be coming back very soon. So coming back very soon, we've got a trip to the Ark Adventure. Are you excited about that?
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Yes, I'm really excited about going to the Ark.
We're going to the Ark Adventure. We've got the money to do so, so we'll make plans to do that. We've got the pie in the face, obviously. I'm not forgetting that, I promise. We've got a lot of the things that we're going to start working on in the church, and we've got a Youth Sunday program that we'll come back together and work on, and we will run the Youth Sunday program, or the youth will run the Youth Sunday program. A lot of things that are going on. It's going to be pretty exhausting and fun at the same time. So I want you guys to really start looking forward to coming back together and spending time in church and spending time with us. So, and is there another message that's just come up? Probably a bunch of messages as I see.
Let me flip back and forth between feeds, because I get certain messages coming through certain ones.
Before we go, can you share a recipe with us?
Oh!
Yes! Yes, we can. Kobe, share your most favorite recipe. First of all, do you guys use a lot of ramen noodles? So we know if you've got that at the house. He'll share one and then I'll share one. How's that? Kobe, share whatever you want. Go for it.
We're going to go with one of my favorite ramen noodle recipes. So you take your packet of ramen, and you cook it normally in the hot water for 4 minutes. But while it's in the microwave, take a little saute pan and use any leftover meat, whether it's hamburger, chicken, ribs. My favorite's using chicken or leftover steak. Cook that up nice with the seasoned packing, the leftover noodle bits in the packet, some onion powder, some garlic powder, and a little bit of chili powder. Cook that up real nice. Sometimes you add in like a little bit of like ham, and then you crack an egg into that and scramble it all nice. And once the ramen noodles are done, you take it, you pour out most of the water, and you dump the rest of it into the pan. And you cook it with a little bit of soy sauce and some sriracha, and put it back in a bowl. It's awesome.
It's actually pretty darn good. And someone said yes. Is that what they said? Yes.
Yeah.
Looks like it.
Yeah, it's
That was
really
in
good.
response to your question about ramen.
Ramen noodles. Okay, so that is your ramen noodle ones. Now mine, this is going to sound really crazy, but I'm telling you, once you taste it and you eat it, it's going to be amazing. So mine is a potato and tuna salad. So the first thing that you do is you make tuna salad. And in your tuna salad, you put tuna. I like Miracle Whip, but you can put mayonnaise if you want. Onions, celery, salt and pepper to taste. And so you have your tuna salad, and then you boil 1 egg and cut 1 or 2 eggs, depending on how many eggs you like. Cut that up and put that in the tuna with it, right? So you've got eggs, tuna, mayonnaise or Miracle Whip, onions, celery, and salt and pepper. You set that aside and make it nice and cool. Let it set for a minute because then all that marinates and it gets good. Then you bake a potato. This is called a tuna stuffed potato. It sounds. Don't knock it till you try it. Take the potato, bust it open, put a little bit of sour cream, butter, salt and pepper again in your potato, mash it up, and then put the tuna on top, tuna salad on top of the potato. Eat it all together. A potato tuna salad. It's awesome. Probably got 1 billion calories, but that's you can tell that it probably has 1 billion calories, but it is delicious. So mine is a tuna salad potato. Yours is the ramen noodles from heaven. That's what we'll call them. Is that cool?
Okay.
Is there any questions before we leave? Any other questions at all? I'll wait 2 seconds or 60 seconds because it takes 60 seconds,
It
right?
takes at least that long to get the responses in.
60 seconds. With that, you'll have to take off your hat because if there's no more... Did they say, ooh, what did they say, really? Yes, really. I'm telling you, it's great. Tuna salad potato. Try it. It's going to be awesome.
Better.
The ramen noodles are, in my opinion, the ramen noodles are better, but the tuna salad potato is pretty awesome. All you can do is try it.
Yuck.
He said, yeah, but you know what? If you eat it and try it, it's going to be amazing. Promise you. All right, with that being said, take your hat off and look at that hairdo. It's getting long. I tell you, one place that's going to be very busy is haircuts and salons, yes.
Super busy.
So, the Coglins, and shameless plug for the Coglin family, Amanda's sister runs the salon downtown that just opened up. She can put it in the comments and maybe even leave a number for that. They're amazing. They even do kids haircuts, but it's downtown and the name escapes me right now, but Sabrina is amazing and she does great things with hair, and she has a wonderful salon and she does kids haircuts. I think that she even has a kids day. So with that being said, we're going to pray and then we're going to be gone, and we'll see you guys next week. And this Sunday I will be looking out, you guys. There might be something really awesome coming. I know that there's a message from the national minister, and then there's a children's moment from national. So it's going to be like you'll be watching church and being
People all over the country are going to be in the same church service.
all in the same church service, and it's going to be pretty awesome. So it's going to be really
excited
cool.
about it.
Put it in a ponytail. Put it in a ponytail. He does sometimes.
I don't have a
But he doesn't.
ponytail holder.
We don't have any ponytail holders, and we haven't gone. So
I'll do this for you guys.
there you go. Right on. Cool. All right. With that being said, let's all bow our heads. Take your hats off if you guys. Whatever manner you're accustomed, we'll pray, and then we'll have Connor turn us off, because that's the great thing about the internet is we can just hit a button and we're done. So here we go. Everybody, you guys get ready to pray with me. All heads bowed, all eyes closed. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you and we thank you for this time to come together. And Lord, we know that sometimes we start to get anxious in ourselves, and when we move away from you and we move away from your word, sometimes it gets a little hard. And Lord, we thank you for the ability to cope with anxiety, and we thank you for all of the different suggestions on how to do so. And Lord, we just ask that the one coping mechanism that we all have is prayer and being in your word. And Lord, we thank you that you've given us direction even in your word, and comfort even in prayer. And Lord, we thank you, we love you, and we ask all these wonderful things, all the praise and honor and glory go to your Son, Jesus Christ. And everyone said, amen. There we go. Tonight we have Good Friday service. As he's closing us out, I'll say it as he hits the button. But we have Good Friday service starting at 6:30. Go to the Facebook site and you can log on there. See you guys later.